Good evening. Welcome back to the Mancunian way. A very cold Martin is with you. I have not got my glasses because they are in the car. Yeah, always fun. So I do apologise. I am live with you from very wet, sunny Blackpool. Good evening to Bevo and to Ozzy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Evening.
Hello, Tom. How are you? I'm just going to try and read these as best I can. The entire defence needs to take accountability for the lack of clean sheets. Pep needs to stop rotating the back line as there's little rotation in two centre-backs, full-backs. We'll get into it all. We will get into it all. Good evening to Connor, to DC. How are you? Now, my mouse isn't working because I brought everything with me. Even had to bring my orthopaedic chair with me, which was fun. It's what you got to do when your back's knackered. Everyone said hello to each other, which is what I love. We're going to get into it, Yusuf, on whether we think it was a penalty or not. Grealish looked lively at left wing. He kept the tick in. We're going to talk about Grealish as well, talk about Doku, talk about everything else. But what I want to say is, bit of sad news. Obviously, on Manchester City's relegation down to League Two. I am very sorry. It is a sad day for Manchester City fans to go all the way to League Two now to play the likes of Forest Green and teams like that. Did you all have a cry, boys, when the relegation was confirmed Saturday lunchtime?
I must admit, I wasn't happy with the result. I thought it was another weak performance from the referee, from being honest. I think we have the worst.
We'll come into that in a minute, Bevo. I was being sarky at first.
Yeah. Devastated, mate. Yeah. Champions League's over for good. We may as well just rip that big gold badge off the middle of our top right away.
City's struggling big time. I'm going to have a lot of disagreements tonight. I really am. I'm going to have a lot of disagreements. I really, really am tonight. I can just see it. But I'm happy, clappy, as everyone's told me. Can I just say thank you to all the DMs calling me a main road wanker? My fault. Old man. Etc. I really do appreciate all these lovely DMs and messages that I've had over the last 24 hours. I didn't realise positive about your football team was now a bad thing. But hey ho, I have to go cry, whinging and everything else to the board. Good evening, Sarah, because City have drawn again. It's the way it is now. City have to win 38 out of 38. That's where I'm at. This is where I'm at now. We've got to win 38 out of 38 and win 5-0 every game. And people go, no, it's not that. It is.
I do feel like it was drop points. I will be honest.
Why?
Because we were probably playing one of the weakest Newcastle sides that we could have probably played.
Says who?
Well, for the fact that they had no Isak, they had various injuries at the back as well.
They had a stronger team last season than what they did this season.
And Newcastle this season haven't really started off great. Yeah, they've grinded out a few results, but we've seen Newcastle over the years be better than how they were.
They grinded out a result against us. Just saying. Sorry.
I do feel it was a bit of a missed opportunity, but St. James's Park's never an easy place to go. You are right.
Right. I'm going to get into it. And listen, I will be critical of one or two things. I'm not going to say I'm not, but I'm not going to. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen today and last night is unreal. And before anyone goes, it's Twitter. I'm talking from proper blues, old school blues. When I say proper blues, like 30, 40-year-old City fans who are telling me Pep Guardiola should go. They're boring. It's time. Football's boring. Cheeky needs to pull his finger out of his arse. Cheeky has failed in the transfer window. Listen, it goes on and on and on this, but we'll get to it. Yeah, that was my response, Ozzy, when I was reading a lot of it. And these are from generally really calm, collective, switched on people who are just, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the rivals. I said last week, I don't know whether it was the 115 getting into people's heads. I do not know, but something has triggered City fans. We are undefeated. All I heard, and Andy said this on 9320 podcast 20 minutes ago, Arsenal were going to be above us. Villa were going to be above us, etc., by the end of the weekend. We're second.
We should be top, man. What are you talking about?
And with all fair dues, it wasn't a penalty for me. Thought Gordon dived. But hey, I'm not going to moan about referees because some referees' decisions you get, others you don't. Ederson doesn't touch him.
I mean,
Watch
I think
slow-mo. Alan Shearer says he doesn't touch him.
I was going to say,
Matt Letizia says he doesn't touch him. So Alan Shearer, the Newcastle great, even said it wasn't a penalty. So we can carry on and go, listen, people go, well, Pep said it was. Pep Billy bullshits the media. And everyone believes it. I've said for months Pep was lying to the media. Because like he said, did you not see the interview yesterday when he got asked about Rodri 4 times? He just rolled his eyes and went, I give up. If every question is going to be Rodri, I give up.
Yeah.
He rolled his eyes. He was pissed off.
Yeah.
So he's just going to give, even I'm doing it on streams. I'm giving people answers what they want.
Yeah. I do think it's.
I'm going to do it. Arsenal favourites. Be favourites. Enjoy the favourite tag. Well done. Villa dropped points today at Ipswich. Nothing said. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. Well, that was another one today. Liam Delap. Liam Delap is now the missing piece in our puzzle. Do me a favour. Cole Palmer scores 4 goals. He's brilliant for Chelsea. One of the most informed players in the league. Doesn't mean that City were wrong. He wanted to leave. Pepe's not going to go on bended knee and go, please stay. No, he's not going to do that.
The one player that he did do that for, though, I really wish he hadn't.
but Bevo, we're going to come to that in a minute because I think people are calling him out. He was one of our better players on the pitch yesterday. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you were right.
So that's what I mean. So it's become an agenda on him now. I'm sick to death for the agendas. What is the point in Kyle Walker taking the pitch when he plays well? Everyone goes at him still. Just say you don't like him because he's got his dick out in a pub. I'd rather people be honest with it. Just be honest with it. Stop Billy bullshitting it. I have no problem with agendas. Just own your agenda.
I would say
genitals, then, not gender, but all right.
I'm saying it straight tonight.
I would say it's one of the better games he's had for a very, very long time now.
Look at this, Haaland, Baz. I get it. You got 1-1 in your cup final. Congratulations. You mean Haaland, who you tried to snap? Oh, we're not mentioning that one, Baz. Are we ignoring that you tried to snap his leg yesterday? Or is that not allowed? And he didn't even change his socks. So, or did change. There was some sock. We had Sockgate yesterday over Haaland because he was trying to prove the point about the injury to the ref. So well done. You've injured another one of our players. Well done. Anyway, right. I'm fighting up tonight. Anyone wants to fight with me tonight? I'm having a fight. I'm telling you. You want to fight with me tonight? Fight with me. Don't care.
Martin will be outside in the car park in 10 minutes.
Come to Blackpool. I'll do it. I don't care. Right.
I think
anyway,
it's because he's in Blackpool, Bevo.
Yeah.
He's just suddenly got this,
before we get going.
Rocky,
Can I just say, I'm not saying anything. Newcastle deserved the point. Before we even get down that road, Newcastle deserved the point. I'm not saying Newcastle didn't. But what I'm annoyed at is little things. I'm not even going to moan at the ref. Penalties go for you. Penalties don't go for you. Sometimes you get an injury. Sometimes you don't. It's what happens. That's football. I don't bother about that.
We do have the worst collective of referees out of all of Europe's top 5 leagues. That is without a shadow of a doubt. The PGMOL are an absolute disgrace. And if they see that as a penalty, then they genuinely, that's the biggest advert for Specsavers I've ever seen.
You're causing that though, Jack. Sorry, Bevo. You're causing that, Jack, with some of your stupidity you're putting out on Twitter, though, mate. You're putting stupidity out on Twitter, though. Let's be straight now.
DGMOL.
It's off you. 1-1 in your cup final.
It's the biggest advert for Specsavers I think you'll ever see. It really is.
Speaking of Specsavers, I need help. Imagine what Docu makes a mistake. Why are we back to Docu? I'm going to tell you some facts about Docu tonight that you're not going to like. You won't like it, but I'm going to tell it you.
What's happened? Has Martin woke up and chose violence or something today?
Kylo's performance had been declining in my opinion. I don't think it was bad yesterday. Thought he was one of our better players on the pitch. Thought it was his best performance of the season.
Well, it's his best performance out of the last 3 seasons.
For some weird reason. Was he at fault? I get what you're saying. We'll talk about it anyway, about the pushing up and everything else. But anyway, we'll get into it. I am going to bring on Ian in a minute. I'm going to send him the link. Contact from the keeper. Mate, Tom Daly would be pleased with what Gordon did, Sunshine. Let's not play that game. Joe Linton one, I'll give you. Joe Linton could have been a penalty. I'll give you the Joe Linton one. You're not having the Gordon one. I don't say it evens itself out because it bleeds doesn't.
It speaks volumes when your own legends coming out and saying that wasn't a pen.
Hang on. Have you ever considered not listening to fans? I do a show for fans, mate. It's a bit hard. It's a bit hard when my part-time job is doing social media, mate. I do believe that, Jack. I do think the charges. Right, let's get into it, and then I'll send the links out to Ian. Right, City yesterday. The lineup was changed very much. We went with Eddie in goal, Gabardio, Kanji, Diaz, Walker, who was captain and has been made captain for the rest of the foreseeable future. Has been voted on by the players, so got an issue taken up with the squad because the squad have voted Kyle Walker to be captain. So, says a lot. Mateo Kovacic, Rico Lewis, Jack Grealish, Ilkay Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland. On the bench, Carson, Doku, Foden, McAtee, Sabinho, Mateus Nunes, Ortega, Johnny Stones. So, what did you think of the lineup, boys? While I just send this link to Ian.
I don't like the chopping and changing. I think Bernardo Silva needs to be played more as in centrally. I think we should have started with Savio. Savio, three assists in his last 4 games. I think that speaks volumes as him as a player and how his career at City has started. I think he deserves every opportunity. The only reason I can probably say to him not starting is maybe he'd had a slight knock. But the fact that they pulled on Savio and Doku both at the same time in like the 81st minute or something suggests not. I do think Pep got it wrong a little bit in terms of tactics in where, player positions. But who am I? Pep knows a lot more about football than I do.
What would you have changed?
I'd have probably put Bernardo in the middle instead of Gundogan. I'd have probably had Gundogan on the bench, and I'd have probably put Savio out on the right.
How do you know Savio would fit?
Well, that's what I just said.
But just said one we don't know, do we?
No, but that's what I'm saying. If that's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you this. I'll tell you this all for free before we even get into the team news. Phil Foden, I think it's starting to come out now, has got issues personally. There is a reason Pep is keeping him the way he is. He's having issues with neighbours, major issue with neighbours, apparently I've heard. And he's also got an issue, his newborn baby. Every newborn baby, one of them is not very well. So people need to start remembering what they're waffling before they're saying shit. There is a reason Pep Guardiola gave him a great big hug personally on Tuesday night after the Watford game. But it's some things people don't see behind the scenes. Doku has had a rocket up his arse off Pep. Been told off Pep, you need to do a hell of a lot more.
Agree.
Which is why he's been dragged out of games and only brought on for 10 minutes at the minute. He needs to do more. What you are saying is, for example, Jack Grealish, Doku, and both got the rocket up the arse. One has responded, one has not at the moment.
Yeah.
But we're hoping he does kick into gear at some point. Because that's why you're now seeing Grealish a lot more direct, driving players on, taking on the likes of Trippier, going round him, beating him for pace and around, putting the ball in, which he was not doing last season.
No, he wasn't.
Sabinho, apparently they are also... I don't think Sabinho is going to play every game because they have got these concerns on the knee injury. So this is where we're at. I do know he's trying to experiment at the moment. I got told that he's experimenting on who to go in that midfield.
He does it every season. Every season for the first sort of 3-4 months of the season, it is just Pep experimenting with everything. And then you get to sort of January, February, and he has a set team. And then that's when we go on the run of forms. He likes to play around and tinker with things and try out new styles of play, new tactics. He's done it for the last, 9 years at City. You know, he will have done it a lot before that as well. What we're seeing here isn't really anything new. I think you were right in saying before about, I think there's a lot of things at the moment that are unsettling the fans. And I don't know whether it is the 115 or, you know, whether it's the fact that there seems to be two teams that are a lot stronger this year, because I've got to admit, Liverpool look immense. They really, really do. I don't know. I don't know if it's the pressure. I can't put my finger on it at all.
Good evening, Ian. How are you, mate?
Good evening, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. Don't worry, we'll come to you in a minute. We'll talk about Tom Daly. Sorry, Anthony Gordon, in a sec. Let's get to us. Good evening, mate. Go on, tell me, what do you think of the lineup?
Which one?
Yeah.
No, talk about that. No, you. We'll come to you in a minute. I know you got your open top bus parade tomorrow night. Calm down.
It's got nothing to do with an open top bus, mate. Nothing to do with
that. I'm joking. Listen, me and Ian talk privately, so you see the banter, you know why. Go on, us.
Yeah, lineup. I was a little disappointed as well. I did think Savio deserved to start, and that's before hearing what you were saying, Martin. You know, injuries I wasn't aware of. So
it's not an injury; it's managing a problem.
Yeah, well, I kind of get that. I suppose for me, it's where that's fully true, because you know we don't know for certain, but I kind of get it. But I do feel that Bernardo Silva out on the right wing hasn't worked for a while now, and I do think, you know, for me, I would have liked to see him in the middle. I did think, you know, the likes of Kovacic and Gundo maybe playing that kind of, you know, pivot role that, you know, Pep was so fond of a couple of seasons ago. I did kind of expect that with Rodri now out. And I was a little bit like, I wasn't sure, because I don't think we've really seen it before. Lewis and Walker play together. Just, well, didn't work for one thing for me. I do agree there needs to be a bit more of a stable back line, because as much as I think Ederson wasn't massively at fault, I still feel he hasn't found himself in the back of the net properly yet. And I said it a couple of weeks ago that I felt that, you know, he's had a bit of a shaky start to the season. He's slightly improved in this game, but I still don't think overall he was brilliant. And then, you know, I was happy that Jack started, because I think Jack was brilliant. And Guardiola, again, fantastic, probably man of the match for me. So, yeah, the lineup slightly disappointed with, but knowing what I now know, I can kind of understand it from Pep's point of view. But yeah, it was just. I'm sure we'll get more into the game in a few minutes, but yeah, I think with the lineup the way it currently is. I mean, you were saying earlier, Martin, about some of the City fans have got a bit upset, and I can kind of understand in some respects when it comes to possibly transfers, because as much as you can't always plan for injuries, we have got one of the lightest squads currently.
We haven't.
Well, you look at that benchmark.
We haven't numbers wise.
No, maybe not numbers wise, but quality wise, we have got a problem. Nunes. We've got Mark. I said without the injuries, you look at the bench. You've got Nunes, who's getting nowhere near this team. You've got young players like oh god, his name's just gone straight out of my head.
O'Reilly.
McAtee. O'Reilly. None of them are getting near this team. So, as much as they're on the bench, they're warming seats. They're not adding anything. So you can say we've got numbers, Martin, but the numbers aren't counting for anything right now. I do think.
Okay, carry on. I'm just gonna. I don't know why you got O'Reilly. O'Reilly's been on the bench once.
Well, I just a mention. I just think that's how light we are, slightly.
Just to chuck in there as well, Ozzy, I think the biggest worry for me is between Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Kovacic. It's a combined age of over 100.
Yeah. I mean,
to me, that is worrying. Like the fact that there's 3 crucial players in that midfield that are sort of well within their 30s. Any chance of an injury there, and it does make us incredibly light.
Well, Bavo, you talked about like Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, we talked about this last season, that his minutes were going to have to be managed this season because we knew age, injuries that were happening. We were going to have to manage him. That's one player. Gundo, we all agree when Gundo came in, his minutes were going to have to be managed as well. Kovacic has had some good games, but I don't think any of us were kind of massively comfortable. We weren't like, yeah, he's the guy. He's going to, be in that midfield guaranteed every game. That's 3 players that we're having to kind of manage, rely on. And I just think, I've said it for the last few seasons, that midfield was going to need to be worked upon, and it's not been touched properly. We've got Nunes, who isn't getting any games. Pep doesn't trust him. It was the same with Calvin Phillips. I can understand why some City fans are upset with some of the transfer business that has or hasn't been done. I'm not losing my head and thinking, oh my God, we're in disaster mode. It's all terrible, because we're in September and we haven't lost a game. And Newcastle, for me, they deserved the point because they played well. They brought the game to us. It's a few games in. I really don't think we need to hit panic stations, but I can understand why some fans are upset.
Okay, I'm just going to come to these super chat and then we'll come to you, Ian. FIFA, thank you for renewing your membership for 11 months. You are a superstar. Thank you so much, mate, for your loyalty. And MCFC, thank you for your super chat. Good evening, Matt, and hope you're doing well. Newcastle were tough for us in the midfield. They won every aerial duel, but it is what it is. It looks like Ricky Geezer at Torino is the one we want, Martin, or is there more? There is more on the list. Isn't just him. Think of a guy at Inter. I will dispute Ozzy's comments in a moment. And then we'll come. But I want to get Ian in. Good evening, Ian. How are you?
Good evening, mate. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I went away for the weekend and World War III exploded. Fun stuff.
It's really interesting to hear different views from your fans and stuff, because obviously we speak quite a bit. And
do you know what I mean now when we speak privately? Do you get what I say now?
I totally get what you say. Now, it's because the way you come across and the way you say how good Manchester City's been playing, and it's like it's what levels at a consistent level what Manchester City fans, what you've explained is the heights of what it should be. And just because a performance where points came from Newcastle, I think there's a little bit of unrest, I should say. But you obviously your main man's out for a long period of time, which is going to take some replacing. But I think Kovacic is a fantastic footballer, by the way, and I think it's a cute signing from Pep. I really do. But there's obviously Kevin De Bruyne is another massive miss from you as well. I've spoken on a number of occasions of what he brings to Manchester City. But overall, I still think on paper you still had enough to beat Newcastle on the day. However, it's the way we approached that game. I just thought we were aggressive. I just thought we were very selective in our press, but when we pressed, we were very good. I find it astonishing when you're on about Ederson. I really do. You want to get your hands around our goalkeeper, by the way, and realise how nervy. He's a great shot stopper, but what your goalkeeper brings with his feet is just remarkable. And you've got to be very, very grateful for what you've got in that goal, because I don't think there's very better around, in my opinion, with his feet.
What did you make of that yesterday, Ian, of the cheeky little back heel?
Unbelievable. And I wasn't at the game. I wasn't at the game yesterday, and I've just spoke on my show how great it is when BT's broadcasting, because Fletch and McCoist are absolutely brilliant in my opinion. And McCoist and Fletch both looked at each other when they said live on the thing and went, "I just can't believe what I've just seen." But that's him, and that's what he brings, you know. Yeah. And I think his distribution is absolutely world class, by the way, with his feet. And there's not many better about. And like I say, God, which other goalkeeper would you want in apart from him? And that's.
I said nothing about getting rid of him. I've said nothing about him not being a fantastic keeper, especially
what
with his
level?
feet.
I mean, what levels do you? I mean, this is you've got to be careful. I mean, what levels do you expect from him? I mean,
go on, Ozzy.
Just sorry, brother, but slightly feel a bit under attack slightly for my comments. If you've ever watched me on this channel before, I've always been Ederson's one of his biggest fans. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. No denying that. He has his flaws like most goalkeepers do. I don't think he's the best shot stopper in the world, given. But what I'm saying is, since the beginning of the season, he has wobbled. He has had his moments where I don't think he's been the Ederson that we've expected over the last few seasons. And all I'm saying is that we've agreed numerous times on this channel, when we've had Ortega come in, he came in to prove to Ederson that you're not undroppable. That there are times where he wasn't going to just play every game. There was going to be serious competition. I'm not saying we're at that level yet, but for me, I just think he hasn't had the best start of the season for numerous reasons, whether it's his head's not in the right place because of what happened during the summer. So that's all I'm saying. I don't want him to go. I think he's fantastic and I have no problems with him. But you can't just go, he hasn't had a slight problem in the first few games of the season. And in fact, I said it before, this game, I think he was really good. Don't think he was brilliant, but I think he was pretty good, better than he had been over the last few games we've had with him.
Mm-hmm. There was talk. What I was going to say is there was talk of over the summer that he might have been on his way out to Saudi. And I actually did a show. I'm pretty sure it was with Martin, and I said there is not a single goalkeeper on the planet that would come into the team and fit the system the way that Ederson does.
Yeah.
His ball distribution is the best on the planet by far.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, yeah, his shot stopping isn't great, or there are goalkeepers, should I say, there are goalkeepers out there with better shot stopping abilities. But what I would say on that is that if you look statistically during games, we only really require Ederson to make maybe 2 or 3 sort of really good saves in a game. Whereas with him during the build-up and the way that he kind of distributes the ball, we require that in our system a lot more than we would require somebody to just stop the ball going in the net.
Yeah, can I say the difference between Nick Pope and Ederson? Nick Pope's had to save over 100 shots already this season, over 100. Now, for me, that's just not. You've got to look at questions of your back four and your midfield in that. Now, and this is what I said on the show the other night was, when you're playing against Manchester City, what's critical is you chase the ball for long periods of time. It's how important and how well you actually look after the ball when you get it. And it starts from your goalkeeper. And at times what we do is we'll get it back after chasing it. We'll play 1, 2, 3, 4 passes, and then we'll play it long. The difference is, but when you get it back, when we press you, it'll go to your goalkeeper. He'll just put his foot on. He'll be nice and calm. Then he'll go into Akanji, and Akanji will just put his foot on. It'll be nice and calm. And then it'll go out to Walker, or then it'll go into Diaz. And so you're lovely and calm. But that starts from your focal point, which is your goalkeeper. His distribution is unbelievable. Now, like you've just correctly said, a top goalkeeper in modern day football these days shouldn't have to make 10, 15 saves a game. It's all about how they distribute because they're the sweeper. And there's nothing better about your goalkeeper, mate. He's best in the world.
Can I just chirp him? Because you see, I'm being questionably quiet tonight. I did my little rant at the beginning. Not normally this quiet, as everyone knows. I always get told I don't allow guests to speak. No, do you know my issue with Ederson? Listen, there is no, for me, Ederson is the number one for us and the number one for the way we play. I do agree with Ozzy a little bit. I do think his head's still up his rear end a little bit from the summertime. I've said it last week. There is a contract on the table and has been for a month or 2, unsigned. I don't think his head's come out the clouds from the 600, 700, 800 grand a week he's been offered. Still don't think it's out the clouds, which is fine. I think when you get offered that sort of money, especially when you're a Brazilian young lad, and you look, there's a lot of Brazilians that have gone to Saudi. A lot. Why? Because they grow up.
South Americans in general.
They have a hard upbringing, and they think, right, this is money. This is money. And I always said, problem with City is, because let's be straight, when he signed up last time, he was quite happy on 90 grand a week. He signed up in seconds. 90 grand a week, boom, day, I'll see you, 4-year contract, whatever it was, done. Signed in seconds. The game's changed a little bit now. City going at 150 grand a week is now a little bit low because they're competing with someone offering 600-700 grand a week. And I do think a little bit. I think he's one or two things for me. He's either waiting on the contract, see what happens with Pep, or he's thinking, I'm going to get this season out of the way and that move will come back again in the summertime. Yeah, I think he's amazing for Manchester City. I think he's amazing. I think he's the best goalkeeper we can have. But I do agree his shot stopping needs to improve a little bit. And you get glimpses. I think it has.
Yeah, there's been glimpses this season.
In this game, evidence enough that his shot stopping was really good.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is I will have a debate on. Listen, before we go, I don't mind constructive criticism. I'll have it because that's a mature footballing debate. What I find hard is when I get told, "City is shit, that's it, we're done." There's no debate there. I can't debate anything analytically with you there.
Yeah.
And when someone says to me, "Walker was just shit," why? When he's just played his best game of the season, he's just shit. I can't debate that back then. I become hard on. Give me something to debate on, and then I can debate. We'll have a chat.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. People get tagged. People are saying Pep's fault. Pep does not know what his best midfield is going to be moving forward, unless for the next 2 or 3 games he experiments a little bit. He's going to have to. Nobody went in that game going, Gundogan's going to blow a stinker. No one was ever saying that going into the game. Everyone was like, Gundogan, happy with that. Nobody knew he was going to blow that kind of a game up. Kovacic, people don't know this. Broken toe, playing with a painkilling injection. Just to remind everyone. There's one for you all. Didn't even play with his broken toe the other night.
No.
Broke it against Inter Milan, apparently, or did fracture it or something. Playing with painkilling injections is what I was told. So Kovacic is going out doing a battle. Rico Lewis, I said 1,000 times, needed to be a lot stronger before you give him the responsibility in midfield.
Especially against us.
Yeah. It was the wrong game against the Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno. Jesus Christ, because you weren't going to get 3 more physical midfielders against him than what you were getting.
Yeah.
You know, I know Baz was joining with me. I thought Haaland did a lot of his tracking back and manoeuvring at the weekend. Didn't score, but the trouble is I thought he was going back and getting involved in it. He was trying.
Martin, I was over the moon where I've seen Haaland do a lot of his work. Because it was, in my opinion, yes, he was getting involved, but it was in the wrong areas of the pitch for me, and I was quite comfortable, you know.
Yeah, but you will, because we haven't got anybody else. The trouble is we had no outlay.
That's the thing. That's the thing, because obviously when you spoke very, very highly of, he was a different Haaland, right? But like you said, I was.
But you see what I mean, though, didn't you? You saw what I mean now with that little bit of a cameo on Saturday with the way he was.
Yeah, definitely.
He is different now.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. And I thought it played into our hands a little bit. And I thought Dan Burn was quite good with him. There was times where Haaland got on top of Dan Burn, and I thought there was times where Dan Burn got on top of Haaland. It was a great battle between the two. There was times, where Haaland's class showed, and he looked really, really good. But there was times I felt he just went a little bit missing, which was unfortunate. Like, but overall,
I think that's why we needed Bernardo Silva in the midfield rather than out on the wing.
I didn't get that. I really didn't get that at all.
No, because our midfield was definitely getting overrun by yours by far. And that's why you were seeing Haaland dropping in deeper and making more work in the middle, because
you found a lot of the times as well, mate. I mean, Grealish was dead clever. When Haaland made, like, pushed us back a little bit, created that space, and Grealish would come in from that inside and find that space, but it just seemed it didn't go very far. I thought Grealish's work was exceptional out wide. I thought everything kind of came through Grealish. I thought he was your main threat on that outside. I thought Guardiola was absolutely world class. I really did. I think he's defensive, and now obviously me and myself, Martin's had quite a few conversations about him. Why he's waited to pay the money that you did, and rightly so, because I just think he's a world class player. I mean, a defender that gets is that 5 out of 6 now. He scored, and he's just. I think his feet work is exceptional. His defensive side of it is really good, but the attacking side of him as well is absolutely brilliant. Him and Akanji, I think, are absolutely brilliant down that side as well. I don't think Akanji gets enough credit, from all pundits and everything. I really don't. I think he's up there, one of the best about as well. Very, very rarely makes a mistake. So solid. Great defender.
If we'd have signed him for 80 million, that's probably where he would have got the plaudits. But because we signed him for 14 million, he just doesn't get plaudits.
What a signing, by the way. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a player.
Yeah.
I mean,
we always rave about him here.
I mean, there was a time second half. I mean, we played a great ball over the top, and Gordon is obviously one of the quickest about, and Akanji just set himself away, and he just mopped it up and made it look so easy. He's a great defender.
Do you know
that's one thing that I was just going to say. That's one thing that he doesn't get enough praise for. He is rapid.
Yeah,
a lot of people just think because he's quite tall that he hasn't got the pace behind him. I think if it wasn't last season, it was the season before. He actually recorded the second quickest time out of the whole City team. Ahead of the likes of Doku, or I think it was last season. And people just don't give him the credit for the speed that he actually has, because he is very, very quick, which is why I think he can do the right back role.
I just think
he has.
I think defensively and positionally, well, he's just unbelievable, mate. Like really, really good.
I mean, can I just say one thing? People about Haaland. The trouble is, Haaland can't do much without service. And when you get Gundo, literally Pope kicks in the ball. Gundo goes, okay. It's like, you know what? It was at that point when I was watching it back, I thought, because people were DMing me as I'm on the course. I'm like, okay, right. So, and you can't get much from a text message or a DM. You're like, I'll watch it. So I watched it back, and I'm like, and I didn't realize Gundogan, 9 times out of 10, Gundogan's slipping that ball through to Haaland, and Haaland's then in a one-on-one with Pope. And instead, or at least he tried, I don't know what he does. He's like a 19-year-old kid who got a little bit giddy and went, oh, what do I do? What do I do? You know, these kids when you're playing five-a-side football and the keeper makes an error and he's off his line and you're like, do I shoot? Do I not shoot? Do I pass? And I thought, what are you doing? This is your experience. Relax, settle down.
Yeah.
He did nothing. He didn't shoot. He didn't pass. He didn't do now. I thought, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And the trouble is, you can't do anything about that.
Do you know, Martin? There was only one time where there was a ball played in between two centre halves, and Haaland actually tried to get on the end of it, but it just fell behind his feet a little bit, and we came away with it. But
yeah,
that's the whole out of the whole of the game. That was the only time when you played in between our centre halves. So you've got to give as much as you've passed and you've probed around and you've moved it around quick. We were quite content because we were just sat with a nice 4-5, and we even brought Gordon in deep. It was like, come on, break us down. But you just didn't seem to have, until Foden came on, when he found them pockets. That's when I was worried. But apart from then, I was quite content. Just let us have it, then we'll counter attack. We'll press you when we can. We'll get up the pitch. We just didn't seem to be worried about you, which is
the problem, really. That was we didn't have that outlay to Haaland.
Can I just say,
was the biggest thing missing.
Foggy, again, 10 super chats, super gifted memberships. Thank you so much, mate. It's every show. You are an absolute superstar. Cannot thank you enough. You and FIFA.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
This is a great point. Can't do much without service. You can't section. This is the problem.
Like, Martin, can I quickly say, though, you know what we said on your show about Isak with service?
Yep.
Reverse that now. If you're now with Haaland without service, that's what I was saying. If Isak was on your side.
Yeah. No, that wasn't. See, my thing with on Thursday, that wasn't my issue. My issue was the Isak could score 40. And that's all it was. And like I said, that I never questioned the service thing, because I think people forget we have got KDB out. Foden's head is up his rear end at the minute. I'll be straight with you. Phil Foden's head is up his rear end. It's nowhere near a football pitch right now. There is a reason he's doing what he's doing with him. You've got Bernardo, who I don't know. He's trying to get his wingers involved. And the trouble is, Doku, some games is looking good. Other games doesn't look interested. Grealish is stepping up. Bob's injured. Sabinho's got a dodgy knee. So it's like just bleeding out. And I get what Ozzy's saying, but the trouble is, this is always my kickback on anyone about the squad is, we had to sell. We cannot force players out of the door. Me and you had this discussion all summer, because I've never said, I always understood what people want, but the trouble is, you can't bring in a £90 million guy when there's no room.
Yeah.
Can't do it. You can't kick Nunes out the door and wish him on his merry way. They're paying him 170 grand a week.
The problem is, Martin, is I think what you'll get a lot of fight back for is that he shouldn't have been signed in the first place. He's the second player in two. Well, yeah, exactly. It is. It's down to the club. They've made two stinking signings. One with Calvin Phillips and another one with Nunez.
Well, we don't know about Nunez yet.
We kind of do, Martin.
We don't because he's made 2 performances and been good in both.
And has he come on in a big game? No. So
the trouble is Nunez isn't there for a big game. I've always said this: you need soldiers in your armour.
Yeah, but Martin, he's not playing when we've got injuries.
But you're not going to buy. So what do you buy? Do you buy £80 million players to put on the bench and then he kicks off 12 months later because he's not playing?
No, Martin. What I'm saying is that it comes down to the quality of the player. Nunez.
So who would you have bought then?
I mean, that's going back onto looking at what we were looking at in the summer or last summer before that. You know, it's what I'm saying, Martin. Yeah, it's paying the money. We've barely spent that much money over the last couple of summers. So, you know, the money's not like the money's not there to spend. What I'm trying to say is you're going to get kickback on the players that we've signed over the last couple of summers, 2 being absolute stinkers. So
who's been the kickback on the summer signings then?
No, I said you're going to get kickback.
No, who then? So name them. Who do you think?
I've just named 2 players for you, Martin.
Calvin Phillips is gone.
Well, he's not.
So he's not included in the squad anymore.
No, but
he's not included in the squad. You've got a 24-man squad out of 25. Calvin Phillips is gone. Can't include him anymore. He's gone. Yeah.
All right. Well, you said we needed to get rid of players to have players brought in.
So who would you got rid of? Out of this 24-man squad, who would you got rid of? Who would you have sold to make room? No, it's a question because these are the questions the boards get us.
Martin, you look at a club like Chelsea who can sign 42 players.
And that's why everyone laughs at them. So you want to do a Chelsea?
No. Don't jump down my throat for
we're having a debate. No one's jumping down your throat. We're having a debate.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Martin, is that we've had 2 bad signings and we've done nothing about it over the transfer period.
Bought Gundogan in.
And we all said, didn't we, Gundo was going to be someone who coming off the bench to make an impact. He wasn't going to start every game.
But we've had injuries.
Yes, Martin, I know, and that's the problem. We saw these injuries coming. We saw the injury with KDB and we saw the injury possibility with Rodri, and we had not addressed either of them. You can shake your head, Martin, but it's the truth.
No one saw ACL on Rodri.
We did see it. Martin, behave. Come on. We talked about this last season. We said if you play,
I will behave because I think you're proper over dramatizing it.
How am I over dramatizing? We talked about
when was the last time?
So many times.
When was the last time Rodri played football before he came out against Inter Milan?
I'm not debating that. I'm debating.
It's unlucky then. He had 2 months off.
It's unlucky. No one could deny it. It's not.
He had 2 months off, Ozzy. It's why I don't buy into that argument. He had 2 months off. Didn't play football for 2 months.
We were saying, and he was saying that if he plays too much, he's going to be more like.
He got a rest. He got 2 months. What did you want? 6 months off?
I'm not saying that, Martin.
So I'm asking a question, Ozzy. This is a debate. He's had 2 months off. When would you? How long would you have kept him off for?
That's not what I'm saying, Martin. I'm saying.
Then your argument doesn't make sense
because you're not listening to me. I've said you've got 3 players. That one is coming not to be a starter. He's in Gundogan. You got KDB who's injury prone, and we all said that before the kick of the season that you're going to have to manage his minutes. And we all said that Rodri, before he had 2 months off, whatever, he even said himself he was going to, if he keeps playing on so much football and doesn't get a rest, he's more likely to be injured. All has happened.
I agree, but I'm not disputing any of that, but he had 2 months off.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that we haven't planned well enough.
It was just unlucky. Rodri, it was his second game back.
I do think that the Rodri injury wasn't based on the amount of minutes played, and that it was more of a freak accident. But it still doesn't. I think the fact that we went into the window knowing that this could have been a problem moving forward, and there's not been a resolution there. I think that has not set us in great stead, because, but like I've said in the past, Martin, as well, if Haaland's injured, it's not as big of a problem because we can play Foden as a false nine. You know, there are other players that we can play as a false nine. If KDB is injured, it's not too much of a problem because we've got Bernardo Silva, we've got Foden, you know, we've got Kovacic, we've got Gundogan. You know, we've got all of these players that can come in and fill the 10 spot. But with Rodri, there is no direct backup for him. So what we're having to do is we're having to shoehorn two midfielders into a double pivot to cover that problem. I would have liked to have seen a DM come in, but again, in order to bring a DM in, you're going to have to bring someone in that is either willing to sit on the bench or someone that can also play as an 8. And that's where the problem is, because, you know, like you've got Bruno G that we were looking at. Bruno G wouldn't have wanted to go and sit on the bench for the best part of 80% of the season. He would have wanted to have played alongside Rodri.
Thank you.
But I do think that there is an element there that we've missed, and it has been sort of calling us for a while, where, you know, like Rodri needs to stop playing this amount of minutes. But then a freak injury like that is something that we didn't necessarily think was going to happen because it's just happened out of the blue. But I do think that with the amount of games that he's played over the last few seasons, it's something that we definitely should have been more wary of.
But
so
again,
it kind of covers both.
I understand what people are saying. The poll out, someone said just sell Nunes and Kovacic. They didn't want to go.
Well, wasn't Kovacic originally in talks with Galatasaray and it sort of fell apart?
Didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Ian, you've had this debate up at Newcastle because we've spoken about this probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Because you have this, sell Wilson, sell Almiron, sell him, and there's no buyers.
No, it's so hard because up at Newcastle, the transfer fee is so low to the wages that they're on. So that it's not, they're on high wages. Like, what you're going to get for Callum Wilson, you're going to get what, 12 million? Almiron, you're going to get 20 million, but he's on nearly 100 grand a week. I mean, who's going to pay that kind of money for a player that's on that kind of wages? And this is what we're struggling with. And plus, players just don't want to leave a football club. And we're trying to offload Miggy last year to Saudi Arabia, and rightly so. He's went, I'm not going there. There was rumours of him apparently leaving this summer as well, which is probably in hindsight what you can see why he's not playing, which was true. Still doesn't want to leave the football club. And there's other, like Callum Wilson, is a great one there. When he's fit, he scores goals. We all know that. But we've signed somebody from Sheffield United for the same transfer fee what Callum Wilson would take to go the other direction. And we don't even know what Asula's going to bring to Newcastle United. And it's so frustrating what transfer fees and what players want to go. But
you've got the other side of it as well, where if teams know that you want to sell and have to sell,
well, they'll
take advantage of it and start offering low amounts.
It's ridiculous. We've been in a situation now where, like I say, we've got a lot of dead wood to get rid of the football club at the minute, and still the wages is ridiculous what they're on. I mean, Matt Target.
Phillips didn't want to leave.
Exactly. And Matt Target's a great example. I mean, we got Matt Target on loan from Aston Villa, and he's on 100 grand a week, and then was actually signing for 10 million for 100 grand, and he's just sitting there. I mean, for a 10 million pound player, I mean, you're talking championship wages, championship transfer fees, and nobody in the championship's on 100 grand, and that's a situation we're in.
People say should have sold Nunes. Nunes didn't want to leave.
And that again, Martin, you're right.
Pep came out with a comment. I think Pep made a quote at the end of the window and went, "I didn't want Nunes to leave."
Yeah, but you're right what you're saying. Any club can come in for a player, mate. You're right what you're saying. And the player might just turn around and go, "Well, I don't want to leave." And it's the player's right to turn around and say, "I'm staying where I'm at."
He didn't want to go to Saudi. Pep didn't actually want to sell him in the end. Pep said no. I mean, people on about the squad. We need to take Phillips out of the squad. Phillips is not part of our 25-man squad. He's not registered in our Premier League squad.
Do you know what Kovacic, mate? How highly rated do you rate him?
I rate Kovacic, but there are a lot of City fans who don't.
Yeah.
Kovacic is a player that will give you consistently 7.5 out of 10 every single game.
Yeah. But like I say, this is what would you rather have a player of say 200 million that'll give you a 4 or a 10, or would you rather have Kovacic that'll be week in week out giving you that average of where you know he's going to perform, give everything for the club? What do you want?
Experienced, he's got multiple Champions Leagues. He's played for massive clubs. He's 25 million quid.
I think it was an absolute steal, by the way, and I think it's an acute signing from Pep.
Yeah.
I think this is one. Ozzy, what do you think of this? Letting Palmer leave was a big mistake. Have a look at him now.
But who's
to say he'd have done that for City?
It could have went the other way, and he could have been an absolute flop. And then you'd have went, glad we got rid of him. You just don't know these things. Fair play to him, by the way. He's setting the world alight still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Palmer wanted to leave. He was offered the chance to stay. He flat refused and was like, "I want to move on. I want this new challenge." And he felt he wasn't getting the game time that he thought he deserved. And fair play to him. He's gone to Chelsea and he's doing fantastically well. No one can begrudge him that. Some players that do. My point I keep trying to make is that we've seen our midfield for a while age with injury concerns. Okay, the 2 signings that we've signed over the last couple of summers, you can turn around and say, yes, you need to have depth in your squad. But what I'm trying to say is that the players that we brought in haven't worked and we haven't done anything to address it. At the end of the day, we're in this position because we haven't addressed those problems. And you can turn around and say, oh, well, they didn't want to go. If other clubs find a way of getting rid of players, if you make it quite clear to the player, you have no future here. You find them, they go. Some, I will admit, some stay on the bench, and like a Phil Jones will warm the bench for God knows how many years. But players are told, you don't have a future here. I'll put you in the reserves with the kids. It happens. I don't like it, but I'm just being.
That isn't Pep, though, was it?
I know, but what I'm trying to say is he's not trusted 2 players, 2 bad signings, and it's just the way it looks, Martin.
No,
what I'm saying is that Pep turned round a couple of seasons ago before Nunes, when he first signed for Wolves, and said he was one of the best players on the planet. Have we seen that? Is Nunes the best player on the planet right now?
I do think that Pep does say things to spark reaction, though, from time to time.
I'm sure he does, brother.
Come down a level. You're very angry. I don't know why. You're very angry tonight. So we are.
Me?
So we have. You had your orange juice. Relax. Bloody hell. Look, see, this is the thing I keep saying. City have got a 24-man squad. When you actually read out the squad, you got 3 goalies: Akanji, Ake, Diaz, Gabardio, Rico Lewis, John Stones, Kyle Walker, Wilson Esperand, Oscar Bob, De Bruyne, Doku, Foden, Grealish, Gundogan, Kovacic, McAtee, Nunes, Rodri, Savinio, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland.
Another example, right, of a
24.
player. Another example of a player that was at City, and it's quite a recent example. Didn't work out for him. Didn't have the best of times. Sergio Gomez. He played for Real Sociedad at the weekend, and he was mustard. I watched a bit of the game, and honest to God, he was absolutely brilliant. And it just shows, just because it doesn't work out at one club, doesn't mean that he's not going to work out at another. And this goes back to what we were talking about with Cole Palmer. Who's to say that he'd have played for City and regularly and would have had any kind of impact that he's had at Chelsea? It probably wouldn't have happened, and sometimes it does take for a player to move on to really, really get the best out of them.
I understand what people want. I get it. The problem is, I know everyone's doing hindsight, but for example, if they'd gone out and spent 100 million on Bruno, which the club didn't rate him at, and Rodri doesn't get injured, you've got £100 million player. And Ian will tell you, Bruno ain't coming in sitting on our bench.
No.
This is the problem. We've always said, how do you cover a loss like Rodri? You can't, because you can't cover the best CDM in world football. Can't do it.
Would Paqueta come and sit on you?
Martin, what if instead, I'm just playing hypotheticals here, just to kind of wind up in maybe slightly. If we hadn't signed Gundo and we'd have gone and spent the money, because I'm sure Ian would turn around and go, as far as he's concerned, he's a 100 million worth of player. I mean, that was his release clause in the summer, wasn't it?
Bruno?
Ian? Yeah.
No. Me and Martin know that he's not worth 100 million.
To your club, Ian, he had a release clause of 100 million. So he was to the club. You may not think he was, but what I'm saying is to the club. And the club at the end of the day were doing the business. If we didn't have the chance, Martin, to not take Gundo back, knowing what you know now, would you have brought Bruno in?
The right money, yeah.
There you go.
What Martin said to me, that they were waiting to this, exactly what you did with Gvardiol.
The other thing is, will buy at their price, not what the seller wants.
The other things as well is Jack Grealish wasn't worth £100 million, but he was to Aston Villa.
Paid it. Yep, yeah, we paid it.
But the reason there is reasons why that we paid it. And
Jack brought a shit ton of money with him. Don't forget,
he brought a brand with him. You remember
Gucci with him. Everyone forgets that one.
He signed a massive deal with Puma, which again was probably part of the contract because obviously we were with Puma at the time, so that probably funded some of the move. But then you've got the brand side of it as well. So, you remember when we signed Jack Grealish, how many people were outside the Etihad with Jack Grealish haircuts? Not because he's a £100 million player, but he brings that sort of he brings that popularity with him, and because it's Jack Grealish and he's a handsome looking guy and all this, he's quite popular in the tabloids or whatever. It brings that kind of I'm trying to think of the word, like it brings that advertisement to the club. So that's why
are we suddenly prioritizing Instagram followers over a player on the pitch?
No, but
because that's how it sounds. It sounds like you want a player to come through because he's but it's Instagram hits. That's not going to translate onto the pitch.
No, of course not. But when you're trying to,
by the way,
when you're trying to build like the brand that we have now today, don't forget we didn't have this brand 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever it was that we signed Grealish, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. But the thing is, we've now got to that point. you know, we brought him in to give the club more popularity and to build that fan base, you know, bigger, and that's pretty much what we've done.
But do you not think like you get that as well with players you bring in, make them better, win more league titles, win Champions Leagues? You're going to get those followers anyway. Do you know what I mean? And Bruno is what, probably the best player and most popular player at Newcastle right now?
No.
All right. Well, you know, he's one of, let's be fair.
It's like Rodri. Like Rodri is a prime example of it. The best defensive midfielder on the planet, doesn't have any PR, doesn't have any social media, has nothing. If he was to go to another club, just because even though it's Rodri and, you know, the kind of stature of player that he is, he's not gonna excessively grow a fan base and popularize a club because it's Rodri. He doesn't have the social media. A lot of football nowadays, it does have a PR element to it. And, you know, especially when you look at things like the Ballon d'Or and things like that, it's all PR, all of it. And I think there are players out there, you know, we could go out now and spend 80, 90 million on Bruno G, but he's not the popular. So what I would say is you are valuing him as £80 million worth of just a football player.
Yeah.
With Jack Grealish, you're valuing him as £100 million of a football player, a brand. It's going to increase your popularity, and there's way more of a package there than just football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd say on it.
With your comment about Bruno as the most popular player at Newcastle United, yes, he's got a popularity figure that's huge. Is he the best midfielder at our club? No. The best midfielder at our football club's just come back from a ban. Tonali. He's better than Bruno by a mile. And that's in my opinion, by the way. And I've watched Bruno now since he's came to this football club. Don't get me wrong, I think he's brilliant. A fantastic footballer. At times he lets himself down. At times he's weak. And his recovery at times is really, really poor. Finds himself in the bad areas. I just think Tonali's just the ultimate footballer, mate. I think he's brilliant. And he's going to get better and better and better. He's going to be the one for us. I think eventually Martin.
Go on in, sorry, mate.
I think eventually Martin, well, because obviously we've had conversations about PSR and stuff like that. I think Bruno will still be the one that will be sold to make that package.
This is my thing. I hear it now when everyone's going Zubimendi and this. They're just throwing random names out.
Yeah.
City don't look at names. They look at profiles. We buy a profile. We don't buy a name. I know names are great and it's sexy and 70, 80, 90 million. It gets everyone going, gets everyone excited. That's going to come. The problem is you've got, in 2026, you have got 7 to 8 players who are all coming to the end.
We've got 9 in the summer. 9 players.
I would say though that Zubimendi does fit that profile. I would say that.
I'm going to tell you something now, Bebo. Club don't think so.
No, that's fine. At the end of the day, the club know way more about football than I do. But what I'm just saying is, from what I see, he would suit our style of play based on what I've seen. That's all I'd say.
So, Martin, are you saying that in January, if it stays the way it is, City are going to make a signing?
Yes.
But you just said we've got to sell somebody. Who are we selling?
Someone might leave in January.
Well, hang on a minute. You can't just have a go at me and say, "Oh, you got to sell. You got to sell. You got to sell." Give me a name, Martin. Who's going to sign? Who are you going to sell?
Why you're being so touchy tonight?
Because you're
being really prickly and touchy tonight. I don't know what's up with you.
Well, I'm telling you because you're telling me and having a go at me saying, Aussie, and I'm saying, Martin, you're saying we couldn't sign.
I'll tell you now. Aussie, let me speak. Right? Because you're now going into the rude category for some weird reason. I don't know why. Rodri's out for the season. Rodri drops out of the 24-man squad. You won't see Rodri till next season, probably mid-season. So whoever they sign takes over the Rodri role. Then in the summer, people will leave.
Okay, but you just said a minute ago we have to sell. So I'm only going on what you're saying, Martin. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say the point because he's injured.
Yeah, I know you've made that point, there, but before, you didn't make that point. You said we've got to sell.
Jumping tonight. People are saying, calm down, Martin. I'm calm. I'm not the one getting etchy tonight.
Come on, let's talk about the Mags game.
I don't know why people are telling me to calm down. Use your ears, people.
Come on, Martin. Let's get into the Newcastle game. Come on. We've had enough about your squad. We've had enough about your transfers. I've had my little bit about your team and stuff. Come on, give the black and white some credit here. Come on.
Go on then, Ian.
No, I'm over to you, boys. Come on.
You know how to park a bus.
Certainly do.
Come on, I'll listen to you, and I'll have my fight.
Let's start with the big. Let's start with the big one. Gordon's dive. Come on, let's get it over and done with. He dived.
Right. I think
fantastic piece of diving, and as Martin said earlier on, will put Tom Daly to shame.
I think it's a clever player. He knew exactly what he was doing, right? And I thought your goalkeeper rushed out, and he knew what was coming. Now there was minimal contact, which he went down. And if you reverse what happened to us when we played Liverpool away and Jota went down in stages, these things happen. We got a penalty. And it either goes for you or it doesn't. And we got the penalty.
I don't think it was a penalty. But I think the Joe Linton one was more a penalty.
I agree with that as well.
But I'm not going to sit here and moan about referees. You get some, you win some, you lose some.
You do.
I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not going to sit blaming the referee because we're not won.
My opinion why you didn't get nothing? I just thought you lacked the cutting edge. I thought you lacked that final bit of quality what Manchester City bring. I just think it wasn't there today. But I'm going to give my team credit because I thought we worked tirelessly hard off the ball and stopped you doing that at times. I do. And I thought the draw was a fair result.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
I agree as well.
I feel some positional players, some players that was put in, which baffled me, mate. I just thought Bernardo out there was, for me, not existent. And I just thought the kid in the middle, is it Rico Lewis, isn't it, in the middle, which was weak. But apart from that, I just think it was that world-class spark, what I normally see from Manchester City, just wasn't there. But I just thought we were aggressive and stopped you doing it. I don't think Joe Linton was fantastic yesterday. I think he's been better. I thought he was better than he's been, but he was nowhere near as good as he's been. I thought Tonali was brilliant. It allowed Bruno to get higher up the pitch, to do his bits higher up the pitch, because he's been doing quite a bit by himself in there, that's why we've been struggling. I thought Trippier played very, very well until he was naive for the goal when he dived in at Grealish. I thought Hall on the left full back was very, very good. Dan Burn was very, very physical against Haaland, and I thought he'd done really, really well. And I thought Anthony Gordon's press off the ball and the areas he picked up, I thought he was exceptional and man of the match for me.
Tackle on Haaland a bit dirty.
Which one?
You know which
exactly one. Which one.
You know which one. You know the main one. The main one.
The reason why I say which one is
because you're a dirty twats with him, Ollie.
You know, it's what you have to do. If you know yourself, you're going to come to Newcastle, right? And you're going to be in a fight. And if you're not going to be prepared to do the other side, which we're very, very good at when we're on. Do you know what it is? Haaland was clever. One point where when they went over to the touchline and he wiped, like, he shoulder barged Dan Burn out the way, but Dan Burn learned from that, and that's where the tackle came from. By the way, it was Haaland's shoulder barge what got him. So I thought it was a great game of football. By the way, played in the right way, and I thought it was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it.
I really
enjoyed the game.
My only critique of it would be, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ian.
Yeah.
I think that Saturday was the best opportunity that we could have had to beat Newcastle at their ground, with obviously, with missing Isak, and obviously, you've got I can't remember which defender it is, but you've got quite a popular defender which is also out at the moment.
Sven Botman.
So I think that this is probably as it stands anyway, the weakest that you're probably going to see Newcastle throughout the season. Obviously, unless you pick up other injuries. But I just felt like it was a missed opportunity based on the team that you had available. That's all I'd say on it, I think.
In defence of Isak, I just think our positional play would have been completely different because he's a natural forward. He'd been high up the pitch. But I just think with Gordon and even Murphy and Barnes, they were more interacting with each other in a deeper part of the area, which allowed us to press you that bit. With obviously, Murphy found some great areas and he put some great balls across. And I think if Isak was there, again in hindsight, it's what you're going if this and if that. But I thought our game plan worked absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. At times you go, we're part of the bus. We're very rigid what we do because it's the respect what we've got to give you is because you're fantastic on the football. But
he's always he's always Newcastle fan.
Sorry?
He's always Newcastle fan or a City fan. Have you seen all before?
We should have seen. I
don't know.
Tonali and Barella. Now, the year was signed Tonali, there was a journalist put on that we would just about to sign Barella, and we'll put a ridiculous transfer fee, and I think it was about 45 million. Now, you're not going to sign Barella for 45 million. You're talking over 100 million for that kind of player. And I think it was a smokescreen for Tonali. And then
are you talking over 100 mil?
Well, for Barella, definitely.
For Barella, yeah.
I think he's in that bracket, and I think he's brilliant, mate.
I think you're talking at least 70, 80.
If you've seen him firsthand not so long ago.
You might see City sticking a bid in January. You don't know.
Who for Tonali?
I know they had scouts there yesterday watching. Who did he play?
I can't see someone because if you look at January transfer windows historically, you never see big impactful players like a Barella for Inter leaving the club halfway through a season. It doesn't happen.
No.
So the only time we would ever go in for a big player like that is if it was on the basis that we could sign him and then get him in the summer. No team is going to entertain getting rid of one of their best players halfway through a season.
And he is their main player. He's the best.
I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying forward. He has been talked about. And I know he said he didn't want to leave Italy, but I've heard all this about Zubermendi didn't want to leave Spain, and apparently he's turned around and changed his mind now. So
I think we're more likely to get a Zubermendi
money talks.
Or a Barella.
Money talks, and if you offer Inter what they want, even if it's a silly asking price, you get the player.
Wharton's gone quiet because apparently they want stupid money for Wharton, and City won't touch that money. I need to do these, by the way, because I've left them so long. Bevo, thank you, mate, for gifting 5 channel memberships. Very generous of you, mate. I'm sorry it's late. And then Sam has become a brand new YouTube member. So W's in the chat for Sam and Bevo for their kind generosity. Pep's very, very happy.
More than you believe. More than you believe I'm happy.
Can I ask a question on your team? Because I'm going to give people a start, and I didn't know this till I was reading it last night. Newcastle haven't lost a game since they lost to us.
Yeah, I know.
At home.
Yeah. Nick Pope hadn't lost a game in over a year until we got beat again.
So this is what I meant at the start about this little bit of arrogance. And we've got to look at what we're going to.
Is that on behalf of us or you?
No, on behalf of some City fans. And I'm not having to go, I'm just saying is Newcastle have not lost a game since we beat them. We were the last time to beat them.
That's St James's Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why everyone was going up there with a gimme.
You concerned about your away form?
Yeah. And when we had, you've got to remember when we qualified for the Champions League, we had one of the best defensive records in the whole of the Premier League. This last season, our defensive record and away form was terrible. And again, if you heard earlier on about Nick Pope, he's had over 100 shots to save already this season. And we haven't played very many games, and we have been nowhere near the standards of what we can be. And yesterday, we were good, in my opinion. Our away form, we just don't know what we're going to bring. Like we go away to Everton, and I know fine well that just because of this result yesterday, a lot of our Newcastle fans will turn around and go, "We'll go there and beat them." And I know fine well we'll go there, and it won't be easy at all because it's a ground where we'll never ever do well on. Even though there's times where we've won, it's always been a tight game, but it's never ever easy. So to answer your question about me away form, I'm worried. Definitely. Until we're consistent home and away, we'll always be a team that'll. Our home form, if you look at our stats, like Martin's clearly said, the home form gets us up that football table, and that's a worrying thing for me. It's that consistent level when you're home and away. For me, you don't get beat away from home because your home forms are good.
Ian, what are you thinking about Eddie Howe? Is he doing a good enough job? There's the England job in the background that seems to be kind of haunting him. Do you want, is he definitely a keeper? Is he definitely the project that's moving forward for you with him?
For me, I love Eddie Howe, and I think for what he's brought to this football club has been absolutely exceptional. I don't think out there at this present time there's anybody different or better that can take us to a different level. I would like to see him be really, really back in the transfer window until this PSR thing goes out the way when we start spending. And then if it doesn't...
You're welcome, by the way.
Sorry?
You're welcome, by the way, with the ATP stuff. You're welcome.
I just think I'm certainly not worried that he's going to go anywhere. I just think he's the right man for the job. I think he's a very, very good tactician. He studies very hard what he does, and I think he gets the best out of the players. I don't think there's anybody better, in my opinion, of managing Newcastle United.
Whilst you're on as well, for me, what have you made of Amanda Staveley leaving? Do you think it could benefit the club? Do you think it could maybe take you backwards? I don't know the situation, so I'm not in a position to comment. But what do you think?
Yeah, see the thing is with Amanda Staveley is when there's been reports put out that she borrowed the money to get this deal over the line. She borrowed money. She borrowed 10 million off Mike Ashley, and she borrowed a certain amount of money off the Rubens. Now, there was certain reports put in that obviously it's well documented that Mike Ashley took it to court, and you had to pay that money back. The stakes obviously went back to the Reuben brothers, but then obviously you can't just you can't be bankrupt if you're going to be a director of a football club or a director of any company. So hence that's why.
I think I actually says, didn't she try and change the name of a company as well to get around that? I've been told quite common in businesses where you're going to go bankrupt, you can change the name to try and stop that. On the don't know.
I'm certainly not going to sit here and say yes or certainly no because I don't know.
Right.
So, but
I'm only asking. I don't know. Yeah, we're not trying to incriminate anyone. Or
I don't know. I know there's a lot of players that respected her, and there's a lot of. It's not just her, mine. It was her husband as well, and there was a lot of players, especially Eddie Howe as well, who were all around her. And has it made an impact? Definitely. I mean, obviously, Darren Eales has just been sadly diagnosed with blood cancer as well, so he's stepping down. So there's major turnarounds in the backroom staff to get things right. I don't think there's been very good relationships between Mitchell and Howe, which I found out that they haven't getting on from day one.
Apparently, they've not spoken at all, have they? There was talk of. I don't know how true this is, but there was talk that Eddie Howe's not really having that much input in player signings and things, and that the relationship between the board and the managers basically gone.
Yeah, I'm in contact with a lad quite regularly, and he's got good contacts within the club. He knows a couple of first team coaches and a couple of agents as well. And he told us that when Mitchell came in, Eddie Howe and them do not get on at all. And the cat came out the bags when the women played, and the reporter actually interviewed the manager of the women's side, and she says, I've been in contact with Mitchell every day and this, that. And then there was a press conference where Eddie Howe was asked, and he basically dismissed everything, what the conversations and everything, and which is clear to see that they don't actually get on. So there's something bubbling away in the background. I know a couple of our local journalists have been put on that, the paper over the cracks, but I just think because there's no transfer windows or nothing to really for Mitchell to actually do at this present time, I think they've tried to just put a bed to it with a newspaper article to say they've kissed and made up. I don't think that's I don't really think that's the key. I think that they still don't get along. And I think personally, when it goes towards, I've also seen mine that they're going to try and force him out for this England job. I hope not. But I've also seen that as well. But I really hope that doesn't happen. But for me, I think Eddie Howe's definitely the right man for this football club.
Does he have to deliver your top four, or would you prefer an FA Cup or Carabao Cup out of him, Ian? Because I think for me, like, he's got to win something in this project. So I think the Premier League at the moment, I think he's still out of sight for, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah.
I just feel that he's got to win something with the club.
Yeah. What's for me? It's finishing in Champions League. What's absolutely through the fans into, like, we can get this every year. We should be automatically going into Champions League because we had that fluke season where, don't get us wrong, our form was good. Like I say, we had the best defensive record in the country, and rightly so, we finished fourth. But there were so many teams that had an off season, which allowed us to get into Champions League, which we certainly weren't ready for. Squad depth wasn't nowhere near to compete week in, week out, which is rightly so. That was struggled the following season through injuries and etc. etc. Yes, there's a project going on there. We had an opportunity which we should have beat Manchester United, but we didn't turn up on the day to win that trophy. I still think that for me, a trophy, I don't think at this present time we're ready, or our squad depth's ready to go and win a trophy. I still think we're a little bit behind because other teams are now progressing forward and signing players. But the club's ambition, it will definitely be to finish in Europe this season, I think. And how far we'll get into a cup competition is another. But Eddie Howe does take his cup competitions very, very seriously, by the way. especially the Carabao Cup. So I think it's the realistic one where he'll try and get us there. But I don't think. See, Martin knows I'm a realistic Newcastle United fan, and I know I've accepted what's going on, and I see things from a different perspective now, and we've got to be realistic here. It's a competitive world out there, and we're just not quite there yet.
I think a good opportunity for you guys would be maybe looking at like a Conference League or a Europa League spot, because I do think that with the Conference League, I do believe that is a trophy which you could go far in and could win with the squad that you've got. And again, it's a European trophy. You know, it might not be the creme de la creme, but it's a start. And I think the Carabao as well. You hear a lot of managers, you know, talk about. I think Jose Mourinho probably said it best a number of years ago, where he said the Carabao Cup is pretty much the gateway to success. You know, it's the first trophy that you can win in a season. It's the one which, you know, the teams that are playing in, you know, the likes of the Champions League and, you know, play the 60, 70 games a season that they can't really afford to sort of go all out on. I know you've had some success. I think was it the Carabao Cup? You got to the semis or the final in not that long ago.
Yeah, we got the final and we got beat off Man United.
And
then
then
we got to the quarterfinals and got beat off Chelsea in the penalties. And now we've got AFC Wimbledon on Tuesday. But then if we beat them, then we've got Chelsea in the next round. So Chelsea could play any of their 450 players and still have a squad to give us a right good game. So it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah.
I'm on mute, and I just realised I've been on mute for 20 minutes. Jesus. I've got to go in less than 5 minutes because my other iPod's got to bed, and like I say, I'm in cold Blackpool. There is going to be a space tonight. Just to let everyone know there will be a space because, yeah. Well, I've got an exam in the morning. Well, it's practical.
In Blackpool?
Yeah, I'm on a dementia. No, I'm on an
Oh.
Alzheimer's course, dementia course.
Fair enough, mate.
To get updated, you know, for carers going. I've got to go there. For some reason, I don't know. Loads of people do courses in Blackpool. I have no idea why. I don't know why Blackpool's some of the centre for courses. It's weird. But anyway, yeah, it's in a hotel ballroom. But yeah, we're all there, and we've got to do because my dad's got basically. I've told him my dad's got to have a peg put in for his feeding now, gastro and all that. So I've got to go and train him for that and other things. So yeah, it's been fun. So tomorrow I've got a practical. So I'm going to be up all night swatting and practicing, making sure. I haven't done this for a long time. That's why I've not got my my glasses with me. But thank you all. So yeah, there will be a space tonight. Listen, my thing is, we say I think a draw was a fair result. I think people got to realise Pep's trying to find the perfect midfield for what we've got. I know everyone wants to buy. I know that. Listen, nobody gives me more excitement, honestly, than going out and listening. We're getting a £90 million player. I'd love it. I get excited. I love it. I really do. But people have got to realise I keep saying it, and I don't mean it offensively. It's not a PS5 game. I wish it was where we could just sell him, buy him, sell. Listen, Hamza in Spaces would be so much quieter. It would. I know everyone wanted João Neves and Bruno. Listen, you ask Ian about my Bruno stuff. Me and Ian were talking Bruno for 15 hours a day.
Oh, it was tiring, wasn't it?
And we were like, what's going on? What have you heard? What have you heard? What have you heard? What have you heard? And nothing ever happened because nobody made a damn move in the end.
Yeah.
It was like you have two people who like each other stood there, one side of the ballroom, and the other one's the other side of the dance floor. And they're like, we're not moving till you move. Well, you move first. Well, no, well, you move first. Like, what the hell?
It's kind
So,
of
yeah.
it's kind of like City passing when you've got some team parking the bus. You just constantly going sideways.
Andrew, I'm not even getting into the January. I'm not even getting into the January stuff. We'll get to that when we get to that. Jesus. I do know Pep has agreed his deal, apparently. What I heard, 2 years. But Pep's got other stuff going on, as has Foden. But please just remember, when we are, it's okay to be constructive critique on a player. But please be careful how you're wording it, because you don't know what goes on in a player's life. I'm not trying to say it's an excuse, but Phil Foden is going through a hell of a lot at the moment. Poor guy.
We've got the same with Kieran Trippier.
People just exactly, and people just go tack. He's playing shit. Get him out, and it's like, what? Just calm a bit. It's like John Stones. Nobody knows about John Stones seeing, until Pep talks about him seeing that counsellor about 18 months ago. No one knew about it and about what had gone on in his personal life. We just got to, and Pep just took him out for a bit. See ya. Go and have 4 months off. Bye-bye. He's agreed it, CT, but it's not. It's agreed verbally because apparently he's got issues as well. He needs to speak with family and everything else. So it's not just about, people think it's just offered a contract. Ederson's had I said this earlier. Ederson has been offered a contract, not signed it.
You've got Rodri contract as well.
Rodri's been offered, not signed. We don't. This is, you can offer contracts. This is what I mean.
Haaland's
apparently all agreed.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Greg, just double check that he's right in it, and Andrew, I'm sure Haaland's done, dusted, settled. Yeah, it's a weird one. So I think people have just got to be lax and let things happen. I've been told, Pep even talks about it, City are looking at doing business in Jan. They are. You've got Oscar Bob to come back. You've got Echeverri. We don't know what's going to happen. People just got to chill. Ake is now training on his own. That might have changed, though. That was 3 days old. That one.
Why is he training on his own format?
Because he did his hamstring. So he was coming back. So they go to training on their own and then they go into the squad again.
See,
it's like light training.
See, if that was put in Newcastle's terms, going he's training on his own, that means it fell out.
Yeah, at City, it's like a build-up before you go back to the main squad. Right. It's like you have a little bit of a one-on-one training, getting used to it sort of thing. See how they are. KDB is out till after internationals. But here's my thing to everyone. We're still second. We're 1 point off the top. And we've actually got a nice set of fixtures coming up.
We do, yeah.
So in 3 weeks' time, and this, thank you, we're unbeaten. And this time last year, we've been beaten by Wolves and Arsenal.
Getting that golden trophy.
And we just calm down on the meltdowns. I know as City fans, we love a meltdown. Look at poor Ian. Bleeding hell. Look at United today, and they're having a meltdown. By the way,
we've got an absolute horrific set of fixtures coming up. Horrific.
Yeah. Liverpool have. And we're going to see Liverpool's medal over the next 3 weeks. By the way, Morgan Rogers, great player. Would he have made it at City? We don't know. Delap scores 2 great goals. Doesn't mean he was suddenly going to become the back, the Haaland replace. This is what I mean. I know everyone's on one. I get it. And you're all going to call me happy clapper, Martin, Manchester City wanker, Main Road wanker. This, I know you're all going to call it, man. But
you keep getting dinosaur.
I'm not going to have a meltdown over drawing 1-1 to Newcastle away when we haven't lost since the 6th of December 2023. Jesus, geez Louise, people.
I do find it concerning, though, that Calvin Phillips can't even make the starting lineup for Ipswich. I do find that concerning for him.
Why he's going? He's not coming back.
No, but I know. But what I mean is,
he could come
what
back.
I mean is
still under contract.
What I mean is as a player, he went from being England's best player of the year to then joining City, and that decline's just It's been massive, and it's really knocked his confidence.
Look at Dele Alli.
Ian, do you want
More
him?
than anything, and
Look at Dele
I
Alli.
do feel sorry for him.
Yeah, there
Oh,
is.
sorry, Ian.
Because
Dele
there's a
Alli-
stupid international break coming up.
Yeah.
Dele Alli was the same. He was set the world alight, and then all of a sudden he just went poof.
Fuck, FIFA, you're doing it. Bring Gomez back. No, can we stop it? Everyone's coming back.
I did say he had a good game though.
Can we just send John Stones up to Newcastle? I'll take John Stones instead of Gay. That'll do, mate.
Not a chance.
Get away.
Stop.
Not a chance.
Get away.
Stop, because I know
Not
what you're
having-
doing there.
We're not having
You've
more
heard the
games.
same news I have, you little shit. I know what you're doing down there.
Who?
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing because you've heard the same news I have. You little shit. Stop it. Behave. Be nice. You don't get him until you pay the money. You're not going to pay him $250,000 a week.
No, but he'll take a wage cut to come to us when the price is right.
If you want to know, yes, Newcastle are interested. That's why he's been a little shit down there and he's doing that. You little sod. I got that about a month ago. That's why I talked about John Stones a month. And also, no way he knows this, Eddie Howe does like Matteo Nunes. So, Ozzy, you might get your frigging wish at some point. Ozzy's going to drive him to Newcastle, Liam.
John,
You can have Nunes, not a problem.
no, John Stones is the more realistic one, in my opinion.
You want John Stones now?
Hey, one. You get one present at Christmas. That's it.
Oscar Bob, I hope apparently November, December. I don't know if that's training or fit. I don't know.
Training, I'd have thought.
There you go. I told you it's not about with Pep, it's about speaking with family. That's why I keep mentioning it. Anyway, Ian, where can everyone find you, mate?
On Two Black White Eyes, if you want to come and watch.
No, we don't want to come and watch it because Bazzy's just wound up watching. I don't know why everyone hates him. Before we go, we have got a little one. Connor's been asking me, and I promised him. Bevo, would you go with the strongest 11, or would you change everything around for Bratislava?
I'd change it. I wouldn't go too mental, but I'd give some players a bit of a rest. I think you can almost guarantee Ortega's probably going to start. Let's just put that out there.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think
So
you can
early?
probably see Doc. I think you could see Doku getting some minutes. I think you might even see an appearance from McAtee at some point.
Have we qualified? And I don't know. Have we qualified already?
No, but what I would say.
Wow, Bevo.
What team? Jesus. Arrogance personified this like here.
Not at all.
Kids out.
Not at all. I do. What I'm saying is, I do think that we do stick to a pretty strong team, but I do think that 45, 50, maybe even 60 minutes, you start seeing the likes of O'Reilly come on, the likes of McAtee. I think we start Doku from the start. Doku is in and out of the first team anyway. You know, whether we play Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever, you know. So that's not like, oh my God, you starting Doku, you know, like.
I respectfully disagree. I'm going as strong as you can.
I don't. The thing is, right, the players that we've got on the bench.
Ozzy said they're all fit.
We
So
have equally as strong players on the bench, with the exception of a few. We do have equally as strong of a bench as we do in our first team. You know, you bring off Kovacic, you put in Gundogan. You know, you bring off KDB, you put in Foden. You're replacing quality with quality. So, for me, I don't really care who we start. I think we get the win, and I think that's it.
Yeah, so O'Reilly has been injured for the EDS. I don't know how fit he is. Cabbage going Celtic beat them 5-1. Don't start this because we're going to end up with 10-1s in the prediction. Jesus.
No, but I do think that we do need to get a good score on aggregate.
That's why I'm saying play the strongest for me, Bevo.
Yeah, but the thing is when you say the strongest, you've still got incredibly strong players on the bench. You take off Grealish, you put on Doku. You take off Kovacic, you put on Bernardo Silva. You have players on the bench that are equally as good as the players that are starting. So for me, what is your strongest?
I'm not going to see because everyone's going to go, oh, you hate McAtee. You talk.
Oh, there we go. No, let's flip this now. Go on, who's your strongest then if you play your strongest?
For my team?
Yeah.
My team for Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Ederson, Rico, Diaz. No. Ederson, Rico, Akanji, Stones.
Hang on. Where's Walker? He's just had a blinder. Right, you said he was the best player against Newcastle.
No, I didn't. I did.
Yeah,
not.
You did.
Said he had his best. Said he had his best.
At the start of the stream, you said he was one of our best players.
He did.
I said he had his best game for City.
So why are you dropping him? I'm sorry, Martin. I'm just on a wind up, mate.
You can't play him every game. What? You see what I have to deal with here? It's like I'm in trouble. Then I'm going to play Kovacic, probably. It depends because Kovacic is, like I said earlier on, I don't want to keep giving him painkiller injections. I don't want to do Rico in midfield. I don't like it at the minute. No, he has to play alongside the right person. Bernardo in the midfield, 100%. Foden, if he's head right. Grealish on the left. Savio on the right. And Haaland up top, if fit. I want to kill him. But I ain't upset the president. They've put 9 past him. They've put 9 past them. We have
Is
to
it at home or away?
We're away.
Away.
And with all due respect, we've got Fulham at the weekend. Something Newcastle can't do. We will hopefully beat Fulham. See, look, I was waiting for it. So yeah, no. Listen, it's still a tough game, but for me, I want to get qualified. 5 wins should get you qualified. I don't want to be. You know what it is to me, Bevo? I don't want to have to be going to
in the last game or something.
I just don't want to be having to go to Juventus and PSG and be flinging around.
No.
Those 2 away games are the hardest ones, and I don't want to be going there without backups. That's why I don't want to take anything to chance moving into these. Sparta Prague and Bratislava, we need to batter them. Batter them, get it done and over with, see you later, get the goal difference up, and then we turn round. We do that.
Got Fenerbahce as well, haven't we? It's not a bad fixture. Is it Fenerbahce?
Feyenoord.
Yeah.
Close.
Ozzy, what would you go with before we go? 2 minutes, make it as quick as you can.
I am going to, for the first time tonight, Martin, I'm going to agree with you. We need to have the strongest 11 on the pitch, and we need to absolutely slaughter them. So, sorry, Bavo, but you're wrong.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm not. What I'm
It's
saying.
all about opinions. It's all about opinions, but no.
I'm not saying play Scott Carson and McAtee and.
Well, you said
Rico Lewis up front.
You said Ortega, McAtee. You were rolling out all the subs earlier.
I said you'll see an appearance from McAtee. I didn't say he was starting.
I think Scott Carson should start.
And did you or did you not say at the start of this stream that Ortega was brought in to help improve on Ederson? Ortega's been fantastic in cup games for us. Absolutely brilliant. Can't fault him. Was it you that said it?
Yeah, it was me who said it, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, dropping Ederson and playing Ortega isn't like, oh my God, that's like unpopular opinion. You can see it happening.
I've got 2 minutes battery left on me, so you're gonna have to be quick, Martin.
Yeah.
Go on. What's your lineup and prediction, Ian, for our Champions League?
I think you'll batter them. I really do.
I think we need to for our own confidence as well.
Yeah.
You just need a response because you went in meltdown of a 1-1 draw.
I know, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think for our own confidence, we just need to go and smash someone like 15-0.
And some of you still won't be happy.
No, Alan.
Could have been 16.
Especially when Nunes scores the winning goal, he will not be happy.
Right. Ian, thank you very much for joining us.
Been a pleasure, mate. Thank you. Cheers, lads.
Bebo.
Thanks, Ian.
And also, take care. People asking me, bro, I got said Brandon was the rumours was a Brandon, but it wasn't. I spoke with someone who was with Brandon all day. He left City because he wanted to be with his family. He missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of weddings, all that sort of thing, and he's now actually got a job being paid more money.
Oh,
Not in the football industry either. He's
Good.
not in football anymore.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, definitely.
So we do wish him all the best. He's very, very happy. I'll even tell you the person I spoke with Big Steve, because he was with him.
And thank you for his service, because 15 years.
He's very, very happy.
You know.
So there you go.
Well, he was actually in City's kitman squad when Chappie was about.
Yeah.
So I mean, it shows you just
there
how
was rumours about it, but then apparently we got confirmation on it, because that's when Big spoke with Big Steve. He apparently has gone into some. I won't say the job, but he's very happy, and it's a lot more money, and he's very, very happy. So you can say, right? Anyway, we'll see you all Tuesday night for Bratislava post match. He's not an underwear model. I'm going to become an underwear model for Chester Zoo. Anyway, take care, all. See you all. Oh, hang on. Sorry, no.
Football prizes. Football prizes.
Gonna get us in trouble, Martin.
I am. You have got 2 days to do this. Get in for this. £4,000 worth of tickets. Footballprizes.co.uk. It is UK only. Become a person on the centre spot. Have your photo taken with the captains, everything. The referees, 5 course, 6 course, 7 course. It's a huge deal. This is like £4,000 worth of a prize. Huge, huge, huge prize. It closes on Tuesday, the 1st of October at 7:30. The live draw is at 8:30 on the 1st of October. You can also win PS5s, Xbox Series 1s, all sorts of things, headphones, everything, every gadget and gadget you could possibly win or think of, but you've got massive, massive prizes. This is something I've entered as well, because you get 2 of them. Captain Centre Circle Hospitality, absolute winner. Take care, but get into that. Say football prizes. Mancunian way have sent you. And good luck to everyone who enters.
If you win.
If we win it, we'll give it away out on a surprise on the channel.
What I've entered, have I got? I didn't agree to that.
No. No, if I win it, if you don't, all right.
Oof.
Take care, all. Bye.
Bye.